fans, welcome to the Purple People Podcast. Hope everybody's doing well this week. I'm joined as always by Mr. Kyle West.
Hey, we are talking all kinds of fun Minnesota sports in the chat right now. Got some good Minnesota Wild discussion going, but we're here to talk Minnesota Vikings football.
Yeah, but no chat going on about the United. There's no United fans in the chat.
Is that the soccer team?
It is.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Adam Carlson. What's up, man?
How's it going? I hope you guys had fun without me last week because I had to deal with a laptop that did not like anything. Like anything I would do to it, it was just gave me a middle finger on the screen. So I decided to take the week off, kick my feet back, let the Kyles take care of business, and it was all right.
You were watching too much of the Minnesota Lynx, weren't you?
Hey, the Lynx are a great team. A lot of talented players. They're building a dynasty, I think.
Championship roster.
I would say that too. That the most successful team in Minnesota is the women. Damn it, guys! Quit letting the ladies hog all the winning. Anyways, welcome to Purple People Podcast. Thank you for everybody in the chat that's already here with us. Let's go through some names here real quick. We got Eric Spencer. He's usually here every week. Yang Yaj, what's up? And we got our three guys in there too, and me talking like a complete idiot. So stay tuned for that because it's only.
But at least you told them that you like stuff.
Yeah, I like sports and stuff. There's a lot of stuff though. But we are on, if you can believe it, I keep saying it every week because it just keeps on growing. Episode number 296. We do a weekly show here for the Purple People Podcast. This one is titled 17 again because we've got some number 17 news. Kind of, I would say, one of the bigger stories of the week. Replacing one right with another. You guys,
and it's the name of a movie that you probably really love because it's got Zac Efron.
Oh, I do. I can't help but, if you look into those eyes of his, I get lost in them, It's like
also got one of those guys from Friends, doesn't it?
Is that the name of the movie, 17 again?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'd have to IMDb it.
I think it's like the older version of him was the guy from Friends. Then he gets younger and he's Zac Efron.
I'm going to look it up. I really liked the last movie, not Baywatch. God, that was awful. It was kind of a feature between him and Michael B. Jordan. And the other guy, I can't think of his name. He's hilarious, but it's called That Awkward Moment. It's pretty good. Made me laugh a lot.
But yeah, that number 17 coincidence was just a little bit too eerie to not name this episode after it.
And the reason we named it 17 again is because, if you guys didn't hear already, we talked about it, I believe, last week. Jarius Wright left us, number 17, Old Faithful. He went to Carolina to join Norv Turner. But we replaced Jarius Wright with former Bears wide receiver KENDALL WRIGHT to a one-year contract worth $1 million. Wright led the Bears in receiving last season and is expected to compete for the number 3 receiver spot. I'm a big fan of the signing.
Wright, not a big receiver, but then again, he's replacing a guy that wasn't a large-bodied receiver in the first place. It'll be interesting to see how they use him and Treadwell situationally going forward. But this is actually a really good signing because it takes a lot of the immediate need away from needing to draft a wide receiver earlier than they really want to.
And the best part is that if you have a Jarius Wright jersey, you don't have to duct tape over either the last name or the number.
True.
Yeah, we switched one right for another right. I'm sad to see Jarius go, but you know what? I think that they maybe got an upgrade with the new number 17 that we brought in. I think he'll do fine in Minnesota. He's got a really great group of core players around him that, you can't double team everyone. He's bound to be just left uncovered on the field when you got to look at either Thielen or Diggs or Cook or Rudolph.
Yeah.
Or Rudolph. Yeah. Or Gronkowski when we trade for him.
Right. Or whoever the Vikings draft in the first round at tight end.
Odell Beckham. All of these players, some of them not even on the team currently.
Right.
Yes. But it's bound to give him just like you forget about him or forget to cover him on the field.
This is exciting. Not to take anything away from Mitchell Trubisky, he did surprise me a lot last year. The Bears are still at the very latter stages or still currently in a rebuild mode, but he was better than expected last year, especially on mine because I'm a North Carolina native and I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel fan. And for him to be throwing to KENDALL WRIGHT the most and him being his leading receiver, it says a lot. Chicago's been ailing at the wide receiver spot for a while now, so – but like you guys said, I think he comes in and he's going to take the spot of Jarius Wright. I think this is going to be great all around for everyone. I think KENDALL WRIGHT knows he's on a better team. Obviously, he won in the division he was playing in last year. And number two, I think this is going to push Laquan Treadwell to play harder because he's got a lot to prove. And that's a win-win for everyone. Like Adam always says, it's healthy for competition. I think competition's healthy everywhere, no matter what position. So I think this will just make everyone play better.
Well, Wright did say that one of the reasons he really wanted to come to Minnesota is because he wanted to play with Kirk Cousins. And at one time, the big thing for the Vikings was that they had this stellar defense. And all they needed was the offense to click. So they were going out to try to get these offensive weapons. Now you actually have a player saying, I want to come here because of what the Vikings have available on offense. That's a weird change to me.
Haven't heard that since 2009.
Who was that? It might have even been like all of the free agent signings that have been complimenting the facilities that the Vikings are playing in too. For just being absolutely, they're like, yeah, I've seen their new training facility. I've seen US Bank Stadium.
Richardson.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, he was going nuts about that. He was very happy with the new facilities and just everything was said was state of the art. Everything was so nice. And, you know, if you guys ever question, well, why do they always spend so much money? Look, the guys, they have a lot of money to spend regardless. They're going to take care of the players and themselves. But that's a recruitment tool for sure. It's just like if you were going to college, going to a college and you're on a campus tour and you see a bunch of beat down dormitories. And
Winter Park, too, was what, 30 years old?
Yeah.
Maybe older than that, Adam.
I think I'm being nice when I'm saying 30.
Yeah. It's a conservative estimate. We had some good stuff going on in the chat. I asked anyone if they've got any Vikings-related questions. Eric Spencer wants to know, should we trade for Tremaine Brock with Terrence Newman being old and stuff? We need quarterback depth. And then we had a Laquan Dreadful reference, which I thought was really funny. I wanted to throw that out.
Eric Spencer, I would trade for you before I would trade for Tremaine Brock. So no. No, thank you.
The nice thing is that you can get cover 2 corners down to 7-Eleven if that's what you're going to do.
Still want that on a t-shirt.
I'd give up like a first and a fourth for Tremaine Brock's services. I think it's be a value signing. No, I'm joking. He's terrible.
While we're at it, why don't we just go back and get Chris Cook out of retirement too and just have the worst corners in the league and make Xavier Rhodes just pull his hair out? Sound good?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, geez.
I have no idea about this next quick hit. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you guys take over for the second one.
All right. So 2007 NFL draft, the Oakland Raiders pick with #1 overall pick, Jamarcus Russell. Now, keep with me because this story does have Vikings ties. Because the quarterback's coach there at the time was John DeFilippo, the now offensive coordinator of the Vikings. Now, we all know that Jamarcus Russell has this reputation not only for being a draft bust, but for not exactly doing a lot of work to make teams realize why he should have been #1 overall. So after realizing that he wasn't working very hard on the field, according to an interview on the Rich Eisen podcast with Kirk Morrison. Morrison said that Filippo approached Jamarcus Russell with a disc and said, here, I put 7 plays on this disc. Or was it 12?
It was 20. He told him 20 different plays on this disc.
Yeah, I put 20 plays on this disc. I want you to review them, take a look. Tell me what plays you think would work best for you, what you like in the offense, what you're comfortable with. And report back to me tomorrow and let me know. So the next day, Jamarcus Russell comes to practice. He says, hey, coach, I checked out those plays you gave me. I love every one of them. Let's incorporate them all into the playbook.
Put them all in. I can run them all. Put them all in, coach.
John DeFilippo looks at him and says, Jamarcus, I gave you a blank DVD.
Wow.
There was nothing on the DVD.
That explains a lot of things, and what happened after that?
He did it as like a rib to like, oh, we're gonna rib the rookie, and then oh, hey, the rookie just lied to the coaching staff.
This was in draft day, guys. I got to know how much I love that movie. This same kind of thing was in there, and then he's just gonna go and lie. Oh my god. Okay. Everything makes more sense now. I'm really glad that this quick hit was in this.
And John DeFilippo, I mean, I've already gotten the impression before that he's a coach that doesn't take a lot of crap. And now after hearing this story, it's like, okay, he's not afraid to test people every once in a while or even like let down his hair and tease people a bit. Mm-hmm. But that means that these Vikings players will probably have to be on their toes a little bit and definitely follow orders. But I don't think that, like I wrote in the article on the Viking Age, I wrote about that video, I don't think that you got to worry so much about that with, Kirk Cousins and Trevor Siemian, even Kyle Sloter, because they are all quarterbacks that are known for having a pretty decent work ethic. That's
hilarious. Somehow we figure out a way to talk about guys like Chris Cook and Jamarcus Russell here on the Purple Pill podcast every week. And 2 words, you're welcome.
Tremaine Brock. Got him in there too.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say his name again.
Yeah, we talk about that guy way too much.
And it's never been for anything good. Have fun wherever you went to. I forgot because I don't care about you. Okay, next.
Denver, man.
Oh, God.
They wanted to use him as cornerback 3, according to, what is that, their Sports Nation site?
Well, Case Keenum's going to be tearing up practice because I know the guy who's going to pick on in practice every single day. All right, I'm going to stop being mean to Tremaine Brock. He makes a lot of money, and he's better at that than I am. So let's go back down to reality. I like this next bullet a lot. I'll steal this one. Latavius Murray, running back for the Vikings, is to meet with the U.S. troops in Germany and Italy as part of the NFL USO Tour. This trip is the latest in a long-term partnership between the NFL and the USO. Since 1966, more than 250 players, coaches, and executives from all around the league, including NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, have traveled all over the world to meet with U.S. troops and their families. I have a fantastic J.J. Watt story about this, but I think I might have already told it on this podcast.
You have.
But
it is a great story.
USO tours are awesome. You can meet a lot of people. I also met Steve Smith, DeQuell Jackson. This was in Manas, Kyrgyzstan, which seems like a lifetime ago, but it's really cool.
You got to meet some cheerleaders too, right?
Oh, yeah. The Miami Dolphin cheerleaders go every year.
Where did you say you were? Because that sounds made up. I could not point that out on a map.
I'll tell you where it is, and I'm glad you asked. Manas Air Base, Kyrgyzstan, is now shut down. Kyrgyzstan is right next to Russia, and there's a lot of – and I don't mean this by any way to be racially insensitive. It is what it is when I assume someone is Asian because I was that part of the world. A lot of the people there look either Chinese or look Chinese. You hear the Russian accent, and you're like, what? I don't get this. And then you forget just how big the country of Russia is. But it's right next to there. It's super cold. I think it was like -30 was the coldest day that I worked. But it was a fun time. And yeah, that was like a day brightener. You get to see all these people. If you guys didn't hear before, I got to play cornhole with J.J. Watt and DeQuell Jackson, which was awesome. But they're super nice. They'll hang out and shoot the shit with you and get you autographs, pictures, all that good stuff. So the fact that our running back is there makes me happy.
See, that's cool. That's good work. I'm glad that the Vikings and the NFL does that in general.
That and Latavius Murray does seem to be a genuinely good person.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the Vikings I have not had a chance to really meet yet, so I hope to do that in the next coming year. But from everything I've heard about him, all the things he does, the charities he runs, he seems like a class act. So hopefully that's true.
I always get emails too. Shout out to Latavius Murray's publicity team because I get emails from this guy's website literally every week. So he's out trying to do all kinds of cool stuff. But this next one, and I'm sorry, I'm going to shout out one of my friends back home who's a super big Redskins fan. Was super mad that we got Kirk Cousins, and he was even more pissed off that the Redskins got Alex Smith. But according to the Washington Redskins, they feel that they have upgraded at the quarterback position by switching from Kirk Cousins to Alex Smith.
There are some things they did improve on. I mean, Alex Smith is coming off a banner year with the Chiefs, where he had a career year as far as completion percentage, and he made a lot of plays down the field. But, he doesn't have that kind of gunslinger mentality. He doesn't have that kind of success throughout the length of his career. And I can see why he might feel like Alex Smith gives them that better, third down percentage, completion percentage, all those kind of things. But, considering the age difference and the entire body of work, I'm not so confident that Alex Smith is anywhere near a big upgrade. At least, what they were able to do to bring him in.
So some of the things that Adam mentioned about Kirk Cousins that he was not a fan of, a little bit of accuracy issues. I looked in depth for some of those and more on it. He's pretty accurate overall. He has made some stupid decisions before, but he's throwing the ball a lot. He's got a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. Alex Smith is a safer bet, but he is also older. Also, not to argue or anything like that with Adam because he makes a great point, but the Chiefs were stacked with weapons last year. Oh,
yes.
The Redskins are not.
I actually wrote an article about this where I made that exact same argument. That and the Redskins had an inferior offensive line to pretty much anybody in the NFL last year.
Doomsday for Alex Smith unless they just absolutely nail the draft and sign a great significant free agent. And even at the tight end position, which I think is their best position on offense, you're still getting a downgrade because you went from Travis Kelce, the second best tight end, maybe number one when Gronk's hurt, to Jordan Reed, which he's a great player.
When healthy, he's great.
But I think it's a significant downgrade for Alex Smith. I don't see them actually dipping or rising. I think it's going to stay consistent there at quarterback for the Redskins. But whatever you got to tell yourself, it's like the Broncos saying, well, we wanted Case Keenum all along. Yeah, that's I don't know what to tell you. You wanted to go after Kirk Cousins, but you couldn't. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, what are the Redskins supposed to say?
Right.
Yeah, he's not really an upgrade over what we had, but he's what we could afford.
It'd be kind of cool for the Redskins to come and say, hey, listen, we really botched how we handled things with Kirk Cousins, and he didn't want to stay with us for pretty much any price. So we had to let him go, and then we were stuck with, okay, do we grab one of these guys or try to trade for a quarterback that had success last year? What do we do here? And then it's like, oh, look, he did a couple things better here and there. So let's focus on those and say, hey, this is why we brought this guy in.
I would love to see that too, Adam. That's like what we keep talking about how I want a player when he leaves a team to just be like, F this organization. This is the worst experience. I hated being drafted by him. I hated the fans. I can't wait to get out. Y'all were terrible. Like, I want that press conference.
Well, what they need to do, and I would love for Adam to take this idea and run with it if he wanted to do more info and do some research for the NBA. But if you look between different organizations and different sports, their culture is crazy different from the stuff that we do. The NFL has such a tight-knit rope around the player's neck, just about everything that they want them to say. They want them to be scripted robots. They don't want to have any negative press. Mm-hmm. Whereas the NBA will give them a chance to use their platform to talk about social issues. Because LeBron James did this not too long ago. He's in a SUV with Kevin Durant, and they're talking about, oh, well, you just need to shut up and dribble and blah, blah. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, I have a platform. I'm going to talk about stuff. But if you do that in the NFL and use your platform to take a knee, you won't have a job probably the next year. And I think that's crazy. I think it's just crazy how different they are. I'm with you, Kyle. I don't want to hear the Russell Wilson approach to everything. Russell Wilson's a great dude. I would definitely take him as a quarterback for the Vikings, but I don't ever want to listen to him in a press conference ever. I want to hear the Marshawn Lynches of the world.
Or like Eli Manning. Eli Manning has to be the most boring interview I've ever heard. Because Eli is, at least Peyton was funny. Like Peyton Manning could be funny with his answers. Eli is the most dry, boring, by-the-book person ever.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, but you like the Belichick press conferences, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're funny. They are funny. I do enjoy some Mike Zimmer too coming in. You know, I'm mostly waiting on people to ask really stupid questions so they can just get the business from.
The Vikings don't have any beat reporters that ask dumb questions. You're going to be waiting a long time.
Gee, no, I can't think of anyone, Adam. Being sarcastic, I can think of a couple.
I just Chris Thomason is always there.
We're trying to do this without naming people. Come on.
Oh no, I'll always name people. And, oh God. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything rude.
I do like the way Sid is so old at this point that he kind of gets a pass for the questions that he asks.
Yeah,
there was some conference I was watching. Who was it? Where the person literally just answered, like they just gave an answer, and then he asked them what they just said. It was during Kirk Cousins' big introductory press conference, the one that was really super long.
Yeah, I think somebody had literally just asked the question and Sid asked it, but Sid's pushing 100 years old. Like, he can ask me if I like chocolate pudding for breakfast, and I'm going to tell him 5 minutes worth of why chocolate pudding is amazing for breakfast because he's Sid. Why
That's
not?
right.
Not asking stupid stuff like, hey, will you name the starter this week? And like, Mike Zimmer just does that slow turn and looks at him like, if I could shoot daggers out of my eyes, I would end you right now.
I didn't tell you last week. I'm not going to tell you this week.
Hey, we got a fun question in the chat. Let's do this really quick. Troy wants to know how long we have all been Vikings fans. I'm 31, and so I became a fan 98 was when I first started watching the team, Randy Moss and whatnot. That was really big and kind of in middle school. That was everyone was talking about, the Vikings and that offense and Randy back then. So that's what drew me into the team.
86.
Troy Gunkel, I haven't seen you before in this chat. I have a funny and weird story. So I've always been a Brett Favre fan. I've told this story before, so I'll shorten it. When I came in the military, it kind of jumped around to getting back to your roots. I never really was interested in the Panthers. I'm from Charlotte. But after I did all my research and learned about the Vikings from the little stuff that I knew growing up, like Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham, players like that, and John Randall, who was my favorite, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I pretty much did the opposite of what all the Seahawks did. It was like, oh, they won the Super Bowl? Well, I've been a Seahawk fan for life. I was like, man, this team doesn't have a Super Bowl. I like the players. I like the people. I've been to Minnesota a few times, so I decided to pledge my allegiance back in the Brett Favre days, and I have been fairly miserable ever since. So I'm sorry to these guys. I'm sorry to these guys who've been doing this longer than I am. I don't know how you've managed to not lose all your hair, but I love this team very, very much. I think they are a stand-up organization, and like I said, they don't have a championship, so there's no bandwagon here. This is all love.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of any other team, so
Nope.
I've been a lifelong miserable guy, I guess.
Everyone in my family is actually baseball fans, except for me. I'm the rogue football fan, but they're all Minnesota Twins fans, and so on top of like the Randy Moss connection, it kind of makes sense that hey, Minnesota's professional football team is the Vikings, so that's kind of the path that I went down as well too.
You mean Iowa doesn't have an NFL team yet?
No, not yet.
You have a good baseball team that I retweeted a video.
Maybe they'll get an XFL team.
Oh, that would be awesome.
The Iowa Cornholes.
Hey, we had the Barnstormers. We had the Barnstormers when Kurt Warner played for him. That was exciting.
Yeah,
it really was. Yeah.
I'm with you there, Yang. I'm looking at the chat since 2009. Same. The Ponder era was such dark days. Let's not talk about Christian Ponder ever again. He's a great dude, but I would rather look at Samantha and not have to worry about looking at Christian Ponder highlights. Moving right along, we got some rumors to talk about, but if you guys remember last year, we drafted a tight end from Virginia Tech, Bucky Hodges. He got hurt last year. He just signed today with the New York Jets, so he's got a relationship there with Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe he'll get some playing time and see the field. He's a big guy, too. He's like 6'6", one of the slender, more receiving kind of tight ends. But good luck to him, man. Good luck, Bucky, over there in New York.
Still can't block. Unless he's been working on that.
I'm waiting on Adam to say it. Are the Vikings really interested in signing former Raiders punter Marquette? Unofficially, hell yes.
Adam, you have the floor with this one.
I don't see the need to upgrade at punter because I got a guy that's coming off a performance where he went the entire regular season without a touchback. He had nice hang time on his punts to provide the special teams unit to get down there and stop. Sure, he didn't have a very long yards per punt average, but he still was able to help be a tool in controlling the field. And Marquette King's got those great numbers. He was 6th in the NFL in yards per punt. He's just got a booming leg. But what's it going to cost to bring him in? Because right now, the punter that the Vikings have is there for under $1 million. And Marquette King is going to bring in a pretty decent little price tag because wherever he goes, he's going to make a decent amount of money because he's one of the best punters in the NFL, according to a lot of stats. So you're at a little bit of a crossroads here. Do you go with the younger punter who's making less money that's had one really good season, or do you go with a more established punter, pay a little bit extra money when you're kind of working against the salary cap now to re-sign your own players? It's a tough situation to be in. Personally, I would pass on Marquette King and see what the Vikings have for another year before kind of evaluating. But if Minnesota really wants to solidify things and they want to be sure that they've got a team in place to make a run, I couldn't blame them for wanting the best available players on their roster.
I want him. Come on over, dude. I like the swag this guy has. Like you said, he's younger. I don't think he had a touchback last season. I'm looking in the chat, too. If you're talking about who I think you're talking about, Yang.
Marquette King had like 6 touchbacks last year.
Oh, well, somebody on a national platform definitely got that wrong.
Yeah, he had 6 last year, I believe.
He ran a faster 40 than Treadwell. Punters aren't people. Punters are people, too, man. Sure they are. I don't know. I like the guy's attitude. He has a lot of fun. I'm not sure that would go over well with Mike Zimmer if he did something stupid. I could definitely see the Vikings.
He will be cut immediately.
Yeah.
Like with a knife. Remember how we joked about that when that's the kind of cutting that Mike Zimmer will be doing.
I still don't understand what John Gruden's doing over there.
I was just going to say
the same he's getting rid of. I don't know.
He's going to get rid of a great punter, and then he's going to bring in a running back with issues in Doug Martin, who's had a ton of issues. I'm not talking any crap about Doug Martin because of his issues. Definitely need to hope that he gets help and treatment for. But I just don't understand what he's doing. I think the Raiders are going to be an epic failure with this coach. I think they are going to.
Oh, I called it a while ago.
I just don't see a guy who hasn't. Oh, I've been watching football ever since I left. Yeah, I've been watching football just like you have. I don't call the games since I'm not good at it, but I could go on a whole rant about the John Gruden thing. I love John Gruden. I think he's a fun guy to watch, and especially when he does all these quarterback camps. I don't know what he's doing over there. He's going to get a roster that needs a lot of help.
Hey, guys, I will tell you what Oakland is doing. They're moving to Las Vegas, and they have to have a head coach to keep their fan base interested in Oakland for the next 2 years. Then he's going to be gone. That's it. That's all they're doing.
I don't know. That 10-year contract they gave him, was it? Oh, my goodness.
They can get out. There's no such thing as a... They can get out of that. There's no worries.
Oh, it's crazy.
Lastly, but not least, before we get into some dates and some jersey numbers, a rumor going around: the Vikings are working towards bringing back Terrence Newman. He made $3.25 million last season. Minnesota would like to bring the veteran back for slightly less. He likes playing for Mike Zimmer. I think it could be a done deal. That still would not stop me from drafting a corner in the first 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if Terrence Newman was going to sign somewhere else, he would have by now. Because cornerbacks are premium in the NFL, and Terrence Newman wasn't bad enough last season to where other teams would be like, okay, we aren't going to sign him for a year while we draft someone and develop him for a little bit. Newman provides that cushion, and I think Minnesota is going to use that. They're going to give their players another year. Mackenzie Alexander made big strides last year. I think we got another big year from him this year. I just don't see a situation where Newman doesn't come back and take on another role as a stopgap while they develop one more cornerback. Because let's be honest, do you really want Marcus Sherrill's cornerback 4?
No, there's no rush with Terrence Newman. That's the thing. You're right. It's either Minnesota or he's going to retire. So you can go through the draft and you can see what happens in the draft. And you got that little push afterwards where there are some players that get released and free agents and all that stuff. And Terrence Newman don't need to be here through OTAs and stuff. Like you can bring him in at any point and he's going to be fine. Though I don't think that money will be that big of an issue for him. They'll find a deal that works. Mike Zimmer will talk to him and they'll get him on board and they'll bring him in and they'll get it figured out.
Oh, Yang Yaj. Marcus Sherrill's over Tremaine Brock any day of the year.
Yeah.
It's sad that I got to take a second to think about that.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Am I, though?
And I
don't know.
I think that's like the meme that's going around. It's been around for a while. It's a cartoon, and it's just like a cat or something sitting in the kitchen, and everything's on fire, and it's like, this is fine. That's how I feel like if you have to put in Marcus Sherrill's, it's like, okay, well, we're fucked. But, yeah, I can't believe we traded a pick away for Tremaine Brock. Holy crap. Would love to have that one back.
Smith, where's your dog?
What's
hey,
that?
Smith, where's your dog right now? He's usually on the couch. I don't see him
over there. That's a good question. Who asked about that? Did somebody ask about where my dog?
No, me. I just noticed. He's not behind you.
Oh, I know where he's at. So it's getting hotter here in El Paso, and he likes to lay on the tile floors because they keep it cool.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh yeah.
So he's definitely found the trick. Isn't that funny? You can't talk to dogs, but if you start watching them, you understand why they're doing certain things. You're popular, man. He's back from the dead, by the way. He's right here.
Star of the show.
Oh, all right. Here's my favorite part of this show, minus the main topic we're going to jump into. Dates announced for OTAs and MiniCamp.
Woo, football.
Yeah.
Football coming next week, or I'm sorry, the week after, I believe. So less than 2 weeks away, first day, April 16th, 2018. OTAs are May 22nd through the 24th, May 29th through the 31st, and June 4th through the 7th. Mandatory minicamp is June 12th through the 14th. Will be the first time that OTAs and minicamp will take place in the new TCO Performance Center. That is super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting enough is that a lot of these dates are closing in really quickly. And as we all know, as soon as you get OTAs rolling, you get the draft going, you start looking at how players are going to fit in where, and then you got the reporting for training camp. And then it's all just a domino effect. So,
and then it's just ACLs and broken everything from that point forward.
You are lucky me and Mr. Smith can't punch you in the face right now.
I know.
That's all we need. That's all we need is for you to say that, and that happened.
No,
you're gonna get booted off the show for this bad karma you're bringing.
But April 16th, one day after Survivor Sunday, when you can check out The Walking Dead Season 8 finale and the season premiere of Fear the Walking Dead Season 4.
At undeadwalking.com.
And we are only 23 days away from the first night of the draft on Thursday, April 26th.
Which, if you're going to the draft party at US Bank Stadium, let me know. Let's set things up. Let's meet up. Let's talk about our prospects. Let's have fun.
Absolutely.
I thought you were going to say prostates. What conversation are you having, Adam?
What conversations do you have where prostates happen before prospects?
Oh, man.
Wow.
We keep things interesting here on the Purple People podcast.
I guess so.
Guys, get your prostates checked before you're 40. All right.
That's true.
But yeah, these are some good dates coming up. Like you said, this now that April is here, once the draft hits and we solidify some needs, everything will shake down. I still think there's going to be some pretty significant trades coming here soon for other NFL news, which I like to try to incorporate that as much as I can because it can affect everyone. Odell Beckham Jr. might be traded if they can't come to a deal over in New York.
He's going to New England. We all know that.
Or the Rams, who have been trying to get some. Well, no, they got Brandon Cooks today. By the way, the Rams are going to the Super Bowl, if you didn't know. I don't know a position that they're horrible at now. It's annoying.
The Rams are going all in on this year. I have no idea what they're doing, but they've turned salary cap options off, and they're going for it.
The Patriots got a first-round pick out of that, too. So Brandon Cooks goes over for 1 year, plays in the Super Bowl, because when is New England not going to be in the damn Super Bowl? And then the Rams get Brandon Cooks. New England, a Super Bowl team already, gets another first-round pick, which they're just going to deal back and get a bunch of second- and third-round players like they always do. But he could be on the way. And from what I was listening to today, I believe it was Colin Cowherd was saying that the rumors spinning around from his sources, the Bills are super aggressive right now trying to get up into the top 5 to get a quarterback. So, who knows? This draft's going to be awesome. I think this is going to be one of the most insane and fun drafts that we've seen in a long time.
Let all those quarterbacks go early. Let the other players fall to Minnesota there.
Yep.
Who do the Bills even have at quarterback?
They have A.J. McCarron from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, that's
right. They got rid of T-Mobile, a.k.a. Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah. They got rid of Nathan Peterman, didn't they?
No, I hope they kept him. Just strictly for him to put on a red clown nose.
No, he's still in Buffalo.
God, I don't think anybody could have a worse intro to a team than that poor guy.
Buffalo sabotaged that kid's career. Just absolutely destroyed it.
Maybe his 5 interceptions in one game did.
Oh, Nathan.
Oh, that poor guy. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of shakeups and trades. Like you said, I don't know who's going to go where, but I see who do we have? We have Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Lamar Jackson. They're all going to go in the first round somewhere.
Yeah, Yang Yao says the Browns want to draft Josh Allen, and that is the rumor that is going around right now. And if that happens, you can bet the Giants are going to be working the phones because there are going to be a lot of people trying to get Sam Darnold.
That and the guy that everybody said was the best player overall, but they're not going to take number one because running backs don't have a good need. Saquon Barkley, the running back from Penn State, I mean, goodness, man, he was such a monster. He's going to slip down into like 6, 7, or 8, and some team's going to get a steal.
Yeah,
I know he's going to fall because of all these quarterbacks that are going, and he's going to be better than some of the quarterbacks by the time his career is said and done that are taken above him. But these teams are going to have to reach because it's a position of need.
I really hope Cleveland doesn't just do Cleveland things. Just take Sam Darnold with the safe pick and just.
Oh, they won't. Cleveland go to Cleveland. you know that.
They're doing so good this offseason. They've got a bunch of good players. They got picks in the first 4. Like, come on, man. Just do the smart right thing here. Probably not, though. I'm with Kyle. They'll probably just do Brown things.
Yeah. They have to accidentally be good at some point, don't they?
I don't know. They've been pretty consistent on shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh. At some point, they have to accidentally win like 10 games. Just, oops, don't know what happened. We won 10 games. How'd that happen? I don't know.
They've got a roster for it. I just wonder if the coach is a problem now. At some point, when you go 1-31, you got to wonder if it's not the players, it's the coach. But they love their coach up there, so we'll see. Well, let's get back on track. We're talking about everything under the sun here. We've got some new jersey numbers for new players on the Vikings, so we'll run through those. Tom Compton is number 79. Don't know who that is. I feel terrible.
That is the offensive lineman that used to play at with Washington and roomed with Kirk Cousins.
Isn't he from Kirk Cousins?
Straight out of Compton.
He's from here in Minnesota.
That's right. There's a tie there between him and Cousins.
Richfield, I believe. Right.
I remember this story. Okay, now I put a name to a face.
Okay.
Josh Andrews is number 64, so I'm guessing that's a lineman.
He is the free agent offensive lineman that the Vikings stole off the Eagles practice squad.
Oh, okay. Can't have too much depth there. Trevor Siemian, former quarterback from the Broncos, is number 3. I like him.
He wore the number 3 when he came to Denver, and then for some reason he switched to 13 when Peyton Manning was around, I believe. So now he's back to number 3.
Trevor Siemian with the Dale Earnhardt number. Good for you, sir. Sheldon Richardson, probably my favorite free agent signing this year, number 93.
Ooh, that's a big number. Big shoes to fill there.
Big shoes.
John Randall, Kevin Williams. Yeah.
Big shoes to fill, but I have no doubts in this guy's ability. We'll just see if we can actually turn it into play. Kendall Wright, as we talked about earlier, keeps Jarius Wright's old number at 17, and Kirk Cousins keeps his number 8 since Sam Bradford has left for Arizona. So.
Yeah, some fun numbers. Kirk Cousins also wore the number 8 at Michigan State, which is neat as well.
Mm-hmm. And duct tape over some of those Sam Bradford jerseys out there if you got one.
Can you guys take the stitching out? Cousins, please. Just put new lettering over it.
It's true. There are plenty of places that do that too. If you hit up your local sports store, I'm sure they could point you in the right direction.
This has been fun. We're going to switch to the main topic now. I'm pretty excited about this. Something we've been doing to kind of pass the time. And like we said, this is going to take you all the way to the draft. I think even up to the week after, just to make the show go by and give you a little bit of extra stuff. But we've been doing, between the 3 of us on the show, our top 10 Vikings of all time. Running through the list one more time, from 10 to 6, I had John Randall at 10, Paul Krause at 9, McTinglehoff at 8, Adrian Peterson at 7, and Chris Carter at 6. For this week, and drum roll, you guys have any guesses for number 5?
Nope.
I went with a guy who played in all 4 of the Viking Super Bowls.
That's a lot of players right there.
Defensive end, Carl Eller.
Oh, okay.
16 seasons with in the NFL. I think 15 of them with the Vikings. 9 first or second team all NFL selections. 6 Pro Bowls. 23 fumble recoveries. And this is my favorite stat here. 133 unofficial sacks. Now, I think the greatest linebacker ever, I don't think there's too much of an argument, is Lawrence Taylor. He's a monster. But he has more sacks than that guy. I had a list of all time there. He would be around 12th or 11th all time in the sacks. Oh, here we go. 13 was Lawrence Taylor with 132.5. he is above guys like Leslie O'Neal, Ricky Jackson, Derek Thomas, Terrell Suggs, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, the likes of those names. But just above him is John Abram and Jared Allen and John Randall. So unofficial sacks, which I hate that wasn't counted back then, but 133 is pretty damn impressive.
True. Go ahead, Mr. West.
Let's see here. We were talking before we started, Adam, about how I think everyone from this point forward on my list is all in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Mine are as well, yes.
So when you start doing top 5, when you're talking about Hall of Fame players, you're really just kind of shuffling.
A lot of personal preference comes into it.
Yes.
Very much, very much. I went with Chris Carter at number 5. And honestly, I'm looking at this, a couple weeks after I first wrote it down. You could probably make a case for Chris Carter being higher on this list than what I did. He was a very, very good receiver for the Vikings. Rock solid in his route running. His hands were spectacular. He could catch anything that came his way. I'm sure everyone's familiar also with the story about how he bounced back from the Eagles, and the Vikings helped him overcome some personal demons. I think that that's really a good story that he talks about how he was able to do that. And, the Vikings and football were able to help him overcome that. And I'm really happy to see that he finally got into the Hall of Fame. I think it was a little BS that they made him wait as long as they did, but at the end of the day, it's still Chris Carter, Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. So that's all that really matters.
Yeah, absolutely deserving of that spot. I went with someone who might be number 1 on some of your lists.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Ooh.
At number 5, I have Fran Tarkenton.
Ooh,
oh,
solid choice. I did not see him going down that far.
I don't have to tell you how good Fran Tarkenton was. There was the hiccup in the middle of his career where he spent 5 years with the New York Giants, and it's hard to be such a massive part of a franchise when you don't spend your entire career with a team. But it's hard to have that knock against him when he spent 13 years in Minnesota. Over the course of his career, he's just been having amazing numbers. 342 touchdowns. Completion percentage of 57% back in the day was pretty solid over the course of his career. It's just amazing what he's been able to accomplish, how he was there for so many of the glory days for the Vikings in the past. But I hate to say that I do think there are players that were more of cornerstones to the team and spent a bigger amount of their career in Minnesota, and as a whole, number 5 in Vikings history really ain't so bad. So like I said, at this point it's personal preference, and you guys all know that I tend to have softer spots for people that play some other positions.
I bet you got an offensive lineman at number 1.
We'll find out.
I'm betting. So
say no. Oh man, I'm trying to check through the chat real quick. Yeah, off the wall things.
Yeah, not a lot talking here. Art Roca did guess that Mr. Smith had Paul Krause at number 5, but I think he already appeared on your list at like number 8 or so, right?
Yep. Legendary safety for the Vikings at number 8 on my list.
Well, Yin Yaj has TJ Clemmings as his number 1. Oh, Eric Spencer, don't even ask that, because that's the first thing I asked when we came up with this.
Yeah, we stuck to just players, but if we were to do like top 10 and include coaches,
Bud Grant's going number 1 on my list.
Bud would probably be number 1, yeah.
Bud Grant is a unanimous number 1. Yeah, I don't think I couldn't possibly put anyone over top of Bud Grant.
No. Absolutely no way.
If Mike Zimmer is the coach to win a Super Bowl for the Vikings, he becomes number 1. Is that too bold of a statement? What do you guys think?
At the end of his coaching career, probably. Right now, no.
Right now, no. Nope.
No, he's got to at least make it to be in that conversation, to be up there with Green and Bud Grant and everybody else. But yeah, if he wins,
where do you guys put? Yeah, definitely. Where do you put Denny Green, just in terms of like Vikings coaches? How high do you have him ranked?
Oh, I don't even want to try to slide this in because I'd have no idea.
Yeah,
He'd definitely be ranked better than Les Steckel.
Denny Green, I think, could be pretty high, just for personal preference.
Higher than Brad Childress.
No. Leslie Frazier's the GOAT, so we'll get that out of the way real quick.
There have been some interesting coaches in Vikings history.
Leslie Frazier with that Tampa 2. Oof. No, that's a good question. I think that we'd have to do a lot more research for that. At least it would on my end. But
yeah,
man, we had some good coaches. Like it kind of varies though. They're either really good or really bad. So I like the direction we're headed in now. So I'm going to focus on that.
Yeah. So we got 4 more weeks. And that will be episode 300 when we announce our number 1, I believe, correct?
Holy shit, it's like we planned this. We didn't plan that at all. That's cool.
I'm taking half credit.
Now, I do want to make one other announcement for our regular listeners. We have gone ahead and re-upped our PodOMatic so that we have another year. We will be here for at least 1 more year, guys. So as long as you guys keep coming here and enjoying us and listening to us on all our platforms, we'll keep doing this thing where we come and talk about football because we love it. We hope you guys love it. And I know we all love the Vikings, so that's great. But we did get an upgraded plan on PodOMatic to where you may be able to find us now on Spotify, which would be huge for us. So take a look, see if it's there. I haven't been able to find it, but I have heard that it is there. So if you find it, shoot us over a link and let us know because that's supposed to be part of our new plan.
I'm going to look right now. The first thing that came up was Spotify Purple. So Purple Rain is definitely on there. Surprise, surprise. I'll look for it on my phone here real quick.
But yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I'm glad that we were able to get a really good deal on it where we didn't have to reach out to others for help. We could take care of it all. But don't worry, even though we're not asking you guys for anything, we are still going to do the Survival League and have fun, give out prizes, because that's the way we roll.
Yeah, I look forward to that every year. I think it's a lot of fun. I love doing the Survival League stuff. It's just cool. Cool to see everyone and get the feedback from all the fans and whatnot.
Isn't it strange for a guy that hates fantasy football to love the Survival League? I love that. I think it's great.
Yeah, just because I don't like playing it doesn't mean that I like seeing the enjoyment that everyone else gets out of it.
Mr. Smith just likes talking smack to Craig.
I do. Anytime Craig doesn't win, it's my favorite. Because he just robs everyone every year. He's like the Patriots of this little league that we have. He's in the finals every year, and it's annoying because he's so. I'm not going to say he's completely lucky because he does have a lot of skill into it, but man, that guy gets lucky sometimes.
We've done the 3 seasons of the competition now, and each year we've had whoever receives the prize package be blown away with what they've got and not expect any of that. So I'm personally really happy that we've gone kind of above and beyond as far as what we were going to give as prizes. It makes me feel real good that everybody's happy and having fun and listening to us, which is a big thumbs up because I don't know how you guys do it sometimes.
We got episode 300 coming up, and I think we should do something fun.
We should dress up like the Spartans and do a 300 theme where we just scream in the microphone for an hour.
Just yell, "This is Sparta" for half an hour.
Yeah.
Or "This is Spartans" in honor of Kirk Cousins.
That's actually a good link right there.
We could watch that parody movie Meet the Spartans for our 300th episode and just do a commentary track for it.
A live reaction to us watching Meet the Spartans.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God, that'd be awful.
There's a great transition there. Speaking of screaming for an hour and a half, if you would happen to be in the El Paso area and you like Metallica, you should definitely come out and see my tribute band for Metallica called Disposable Ink. We will play the Black Album in its entirety. We will play other songs off of Master Puppets like Disposable Heroes and Damage Inc., Creeping Death from Ride the Lightning, stuff like that. And we might even play a new one, Moth into Flame. So come out.
Awesome.
And, definitely come out and check us out if you're in the El Paso area. If you have any questions, hit me up.
Sounds like fun. What do you got to plug, Mr. Smith or Mr. West?
Just a second. I can't type and do 2 things. Why do you have to catch me in the middle of typing?
That's because I'm typing.
Good Lord. You should check out photography work. I I do writing. I do all kinds of stupid shit like that I think is fun that no one else cares about. But occasionally I sell things. I sold a photo of US Bank Stadium that I thought was really pretty cool. But if you check out my Twitter profile, the link is down in the YouTube channel down below. That's a great place to find all of my work.
Now, I don't usually go off on little mini rants, but let's talk about something for a moment that is near and dear to all of us. Thursday night football.
Yes.
Now, Fox now has the right to Thursday night football, and they put out a lot of money to try to get Peyton Manning to come and do Thursday night football after seeing, what Tony Romo did. And Tony Romo is very good at what he does. I love watching games when he talks. Now, Peyton Manning declined that, so the current report is that Fox has reached out to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck to do Thursday night football in addition to their Sunday night game in addition to the Sunday game of the week.
Oh God!
So you can get bucked twice a week as a football fan.
I'm tired of getting. I never get any warning when I'm about to get bucked, and it gets really, really annoying.
Oh man,
I don't know.
And the thing is I don't even mind Buck that bad. It's when Buck and Aikman get together. It's like if they teamed Buck with someone else, I might not mind it as much, but wow.
You ruined the end of this show for me. Thanks for that. I'm just not happy now. Damn it.
It's only a report. It's not confirmed yet. So maybe they'll reach out to someone else. Maybe Joe Buck will say, I'm already doing enough with, I don't know, is baseball still going on around that time? I don't know. Or does Joe Buck only do the World Series?
Baseball goes until October, so maybe we can only see him for half the season. I don't know. His voice just puts me to sleep. It makes me angry.
What's Brett Favre doing?
He's probably hunting stuff and
selling Wranglers.
Yeah, selling Wranglers, razor and ads and stuff, and got that copper tone thing on his elbow all the time now. Who knows?
I'd listen to Brett Favre do some commentary. I think it'd be funny.
Eric Spencer, I can't wait for Joe Buck to remind us that Troy is a Hall of Famer twice a week.
Yeah, and to tell us.
Sometimes I forget, so it's okay.
And to tell us that how much Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback ever of all time, even if the Packers aren't playing and they're not covering that week.
Now, I do want to end by saying that I hope that any of our listeners, if you are heading to Chicago for Walker Stalker Con this weekend, come on over and say hi. I'm going to be there and be interviewing some people for Undead Walking. I'm going to be walking around, taking some pictures of cosplayers, just interacting with everyone I can during the entire event. So hopefully if you're there, come on up, say hello. Also, I do want you to check out Undead Walking, which is where I'll be covering all of that. There's the app for it. There's undeadwalking.com. We're covering, The Walking Dead, where the season 8 finale is coming up. We got the season 4 premiere, Fear the Walking Dead, approaching. Both coming on April 15th, which is gonna be sweet. Also, I know you're fans of the Vikings, so if you can check out the Viking Age, that'd be awesome. We are still having an amazing response to all our work over on the Viking Age, with readers coming to us in massive numbers. So we really do appreciate everything you guys have going on over there, all the support you're giving us on the Viking Age. It really means a lot.
Download the app. I don't know if everyone knows that there's a Viking Age app, but I really like that. That's where I do a lot of my reading for your guys' articles and stuff. It's really nice to have on my phone. I like it quite a bit.
I'm also trying to incorporate a lot more opinion into my pieces because they were starting to get a little more newsy than I wanted them to be. So I'm trying to take a little bit more of a casual tone with my pieces. So hopefully you'll get a little bit more of my personality shining through on the pieces, a little bit more of my opinion. And I do really appreciate all you guys checking out the Viking Age, Undead Walking, the Purple People podcast, or just chatting with us on social media, which can be a lot of fun. You can talk to me at MNVikingZombie, at Purple People Pod for our official Facebook, the Purple People Podcast. I believe we're going to be putting a poll or something up this week because I think we missed one last week, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we've been slacking on that, but we'll get one.
Yeah, lately you've been doing this or that, so hopefully we can do a this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Ying Yaj says, read your article on the Wright signing, Adam, which I do appreciate you checking it out because as you guys know, that's what I do for a living. And It's not easy to make it through when you're trying to live off the clicks of others and you're not putting out tons of clickbait articles and misleading information and all that kind of stuff. So I do really appreciate all of it.
I know we kind of talked about him a little bit, and we're wrapping it up. But do you think he'll have a good season for Minnesota?
Kendall Wright?
Yeah.
It depends on the role he takes. If he steals the number 3 spot away from what would be Laquan Treadwell's, then absolutely. If he can be the leading receiver on a Bears team with a rookie quarterback. I have all the faith in the world in Kirk Cousins and John DeFilippo to get him the ball. And I hope what happens is he slides in and he is as good or better than what Jarius Wright was asked to do. Because we all know how like clutch he was on third down. And, you know, when everybody's worried about Thielen and Diggs and there's not really a mismatch for Rudy,
here comes Wright.
Here comes Jarius Wright to keep the chains moving. That's all that I want him to do. And if he does anything more, then it's above expectation. I think he's capable. We'll just see if they use him right.
Kendall Wright had one of the best adjusted receiving percentages as far as catches in the league last year. So I could see him being a very valuable asset. And considering that Kirk Cousins is going to need to step in and be more efficient on third downs than he was last year, which, again, you can attribute to not having a lot of talent around him, no real run game, crappy offensive line, all that. But even just having better tools available in Wright or Thielen or Diggs or Rudolph or even Delvin Cook, or Morgan or whoever. I really feel like this is a situation where Wright can come in. He won't be asked to do too much. And when he is asked to do things, I think he can excel in those things.
I think so, too. I think it's a good signing.
I want to start doing the looks like game and steal it from the Le Batard show. If we won the Super Bowl, do you think Kirk Cousins would turn up and go to Panera Bread with his wife at midnight and just be all crazy? he looks like the whitest of white people I've ever seen in my life. Also,
maybe he'll go to Chick-fil-A on Sunday.
Maybe they'll open it up for him.
The Falcons in the Falcons stadium.
I have to tell you guys, we didn't put this in the quick hits, but if you guys didn't see, and I believe, it was on Dalvin Cook's social media page. Who did we have? Let me find this photo real quick. So we have Dalvin Cook's social media yesterday on his story on Instagram, but I have Stephon Diggs here with Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, and CJ Ham doing private workout together. If you guys didn't see that, there's a photo up. I'll show it up.
I thought that was Mac Brown.
Well, is it Mac Brown? I thought it was CJ Ham. You're probably right, but I got it from Dalvin Cook's page. It's one of our running backs or halfbacks. Excuse me. But I was really pumped to see that they're already putting in work. I said this last year going into the season, watching Stephon Diggs and all the off-season stuff that he does, just the immense amount of work he puts in to be awesome. And they're already working together, so they're going to start building chemistry early. Pretty pumped to see that. That was really good.
I'm expecting a lot of Vikings players to show up for OTAs, despite the fact they don't have to, for a couple reasons.
They want to work in that new stadium.
They want to check out the new facility. They want to get that new teamwork going, and they just want to get to know each other. And that Vikings Minnesota feel doesn't have and hasn't had the last couple seasons any sort of real people that didn't want to show up to OTAs, and you don't get that a lot these seasons. That used to be a regular thing.
I was going to say, remember a few years ago, Adam? I know what you're talking about. And I love Jared Allen's of the world, and I don't want to knock on him. But in particular, you had veterans like Jared Allen and Kevin and Pat Williams, and they all hated and were very vocal about hating going to OTAs and training camp and mini camp. And well, what kind of example are you setting for the rookie players? I like the way Everson Griffin, when he was on KFan, was kind of like, it's a grind, but it's a good grind, and he talked about how he wanted to show up because it's good to build that team mentality.
Everson Griffin wants to show up because he has that workout bonus in his contract.
Yeah, he does.
That too, because, he did mention really quickly, the Vikings are paying me a lot of money. They've blessed me with a lot of money to be here. So I like that. I want our team to want to play football together. And you're right. There have been times in the past that I don't necessarily know if that's been true.
The coaches were like, no, that's okay. You can skip it. And I don't see Mike Zimmer saying, I'll go ahead and skip it. I could see him saying, I want you to be here if you can.
Mike Zimmer takes his glasses off like the Terminator and points to his eye and was like, my eye fell off and I showed up to work. What excuse do you have? Oh, get your ass out on the field. Get to work.
Very true.
If Joe Buck and Troy Aikman can work twice a week, so can you guys.
Damn it, Adam.
Had to do it.
Oh, man. On that note, I do want to thank all you guys for listening. Thank you for joining us in the chat. It's real awesome to have you guys here, and you can check us out, iTunes, Stitcher, PodOMatic, YouTube, everywhere. We do ask that if you head on over to iTunes, leave us a review. Be honest. You don't have to say we're 5-star if you don't believe we're 5-star. You know, we're fine with 3s. 4s are awesome. 5s are amazing. But hey, you know, in the end, just rate us. Tell us how you like us, what you think we could do better, or you can even send that over to us in a message on Facebook and let us know. You can rate us on Facebook too. You can give us stars over there, which I didn't know you could do for a while. So apparently we have a rating over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to thank everyone once again for joining us, and I hope you'll be back next week when we'll hopefully have nothing more to talk about for another hour and a half. So stay classy, Minnesota.